Hey gang, so my computer's down for the next couple of weeks, so instead of being able to make my usual videos, I figured I'd just use these point and click ones here on my iPhone where I answer your questions specifically. So leave your questions down below and I'll answer them for you. But to start off this series, I figured I'd start off with one of my most enigmatic questions that I often get asked, which is Paul Wade real? Paul Wade, being the author of Convict Conditioning series and a bunch of other books by Dragon Door, is an anonymous figure. And that's led to a lot of speculation out there on the internet. And I usually don't get too much into theories and gossip and stuff like that. But over the years of following Paul Wade's works, I've got my own perspectives. And not only has my perspectives brought me to a good positive place in feeling who Paul Wade may be, but it's also built a better relationship with the information, which means better relationship with my own training. So maybe it'll help you too. Speculation number one, Paul Wade's not a real guy. It's just a figure made up by some company to sell more books. I really find this one hard to believe because as an author myself, I know that the hard part of being an author isn't writing the book. That's the easy part. The hard part is promoting and selling the book. In this day and age, especially here on the internet, promoting and selling anything is a hell of a lot easier with clarity, transparency, and authenticity. I know that you want to know who I am, who the person is behind the product. You want to hear my voice. You want to see my face. Okay, maybe not my face, but you want to know who I am to build trust and rapport here so that you know if it's worth your hard-earned money to buy my book. Now, Paul Wade, being anonymous, doesn't have that luxury. So I can only imagine actually that the anonymous persona of Paul Wade is actually hurting book sales, not helping them. Point number two, Paul Wade is real, but he's someone we already know. People have speculated that it's John Duquesne, it's one of the Cavadl brothers, Zach Evanesh, myself even, people joke about it kind of thing. Here's the thing I've also learned. Persona is ridiculously hard to fake. It's ridiculously hard to switch and change. The persona of myself and the Cavadlos and John Duquesne, very different from one another, very different people. And the persona of Paul Wade is like on a different planet. If you just even read some of the comments that he's responded to in the blog post of the PCC blog, you know, this is a unique individual with his own take on things. And I really have a hard time believing that that personality and like John Duquesne's personality can live in the same individual and stay sane. So I believe he's real. I believe he's an individual in and of himself, but we don't know who it's going to be. Now, the third point's the doozy. Is the story of Paul Wade real? Was he someone who was incarcerated, learned bodyweight training, coached it, and then came out and shared it with everyone else? Let me just give you this perspective. I've read everything I can get my hands on that has the author Paul Wade name on it, which, yeah, that may be a pseudonym. If I wanted to stay anonymous, I wouldn't use my real name either. But after everything I've read for many years and applying it, practical information, the only takeaway that I can accurately and honestly give is that whoever wrote those books is a real coach, a real athlete with decades of experience who's learned their information through the school of the school of hard knocks, basically. You're not getting that kind of information, that level of knowledge of how the body works and how to train it through putting together a bunch of blog posts that you find online or watching some YouTube videos. That is an individual who has decades of experience as an athlete, as a coach, and has learned a lot of things probably the hard way. The second thing, though, is while that is a very experienced individual, I don't believe that as an individual has very much experience within our modern day fitness culture. This has come up because you read, especially Convict Conditioning 1, there's a lot of questions out there floating around about the principles and application that Paul Wade recommends. Do you always have to start on the first step? Do you always have to do the recommended, like just 2 sets, save a rep in the tank? These are ideas that are very sound and can only be really known through practical, hands-on application. But a lot of people aren't quite sure, like, did he really mean I have to do it exactly this way? Is this real? Like, do I have to do it this way? And I've tried to answer some of these questions through some of these videos. So this has led me to the belief that while Paul Wade's information is born from hard knocks, practical knowledge and learning, it's from a society that's not our own. It's from a fitness culture that's not about 24-hour access gyms and smoothie bars and pre-workout and stuff. It's something else entirely, something I've never been a part of. I've been a trainer for over 15 years. I'm in the gym 12, 13 hours every day. And I don't know anybody who's like that. The only way I can picture Paul Wade is that this is somebody who was like on a desert island, and they learned their craft on that desert island, and then it's like Crocodile Dundee. They came into our modern society, and they don't quite mesh with the way we often think about training and exercise. So the information that they give is very good and practical, but it's kind of like, what? And that's why I think the story of Paul Wade is real. Because you have a member who knows what he's talking about through experience at the School of Hard Knocks, but hasn't been part of our fitness society as we know it for the majority of his life. Which, yeah, maybe he's an alien. Maybe he was on a desert island kind of thing. Or maybe it's just the simplest answer that he was incarcerated and removed from society, where he had to learn everything from the School of Hard Knocks in prisons. And the whole thing really is true, and maybe the only thing that's not real about it is the name, which might in fact be a pseudonym. So there are my thoughts on it. Love to hear your thoughts and theories and stuff. I don't know, is he Sasquatch, married to Elvis and stuff like that? You'd read it in the tabloids or something. But that's my perception, and it's helped me, and I hope it helps you too. Once again, leave your questions down below. Be fit, live free.